Hi everyone. So today let's look at the unfortunate fact of what's becoming more and more of a reality these days, and that is needing some emergency supplies. Today we're going to look at food more, but look at what happens. Whether it's, say, COVID, and we have supply chain issues, people make weird runs on toilet paper, or whether we have a power outage from a snowstorm, or just bad weather, you can't get to the store, we need some kind of emergency supply. And a lot of people will take whatever they can get, more than what they need, and then we're left with nothing. So what we need to do is prepare ahead of time so we have it. And let's get to that right about now. Okay, so the good news is we can get a lot of stuff in our homes pretty reasonably priced and before it's an emergency need. Okay, so whether you have no electricity or just can't get to the store, you need something that is going to be able to be preserved at home for some time so you don't have to worry about it, right? All right, let's go over some of those things. And if any of you have any ideas on that I don't mention or something better, please make some comments and let me know what you think on that. Okay, so we live in the city, not a huge city, but a pretty big city, a few million. Anyway, you have to worry about what you're going to be able to get. Now, some of the simple things and basic things we tend to not really think about until it's suddenly an emergency. Water. Okay, as long as you got running water, you're okay. If you need filtered water from your sink or from your refrigerator and you're out of power, it won't work, just so you know. So you need the electricity for that. So as long as you're okay with the tap water, that's great. Otherwise, you might want to think about getting some gallons of drinking water. They're pretty cheap at the store. You just got to have a place to put them. You can even get those big 5-gallon ones if that's a viable option for you. They can be heavy, or you might want to have one of those units that you turn them over on and use that. We don't have one, but it is another option. Now let's get into some of the food we can have around that is good to have, even if it's not an emergency, but it's preserved well, and we're not worrying about super healthy stuff, but it's still good, keeps you going, and it's good to have around in case something happens, so you're not feeling like you're rushed to try to fight everybody else getting what you need. Okay, the first one that comes to mind, I love myself, peanut butter. Peanut butter is great. It's got a long shelf life. Have it around for a long time. It fills you up. It's got some protein. And also, if you want a little sweetness with it, get some honey. I personally like the raw unfiltered honey, and that's also good for keeping around. It lasts a long time. So I'll mix up peanut butter and honey just in general. All right, now some other things in that same realm are just various nuts like Brazil nuts, walnuts, pistachios, cashews, regular peanuts, almonds. There's all kinds of things. You could get some pretty big bags or even little mixed bags. There's all kinds of things like that. And those, again, have some good protein, keep you going, long shelf life, and you've got something around. So here's one you may not have thought about, but it's real handy. You can get tuna and chicken both, either in cans, as you probably know, or in these pouches. And the great thing about the pouches, you don't need can openers or anything else. You just kind of rip them open, and there's a little juice inside. You pour it out, and you're ready to go. It's really handy to have around, and it's got a long shelf life again, and it's easy storage. Another one, potatoes. Now, potatoes, granted, aren't going to last as long, but you can eat them raw or whatever. It's got people through famine and everything else. So, not quite as long as the shelf life. However, something to keep in mind if you need something. Cereal is a pretty good one. You got all kinds, and you may have to eat it dry depending on what's going on. However, it's still something that's got a good shelf life, and you can eat it. And now you get to kind of pick the choice of what you want there. So, yet another fine option. Now, a few things that can put on some overall nutrition are nutritional drinks like Ensure, Boost, carnation. They're all tasty too. I like the chocolate myself. But again, as long as you're not using it, you don't have to refrigerate them. They have a good shelf life. I think a couple of years actually, until you open it. But you can get those individual ones, and that's pretty good. You can even get the powdered mixed ones and add water or whatever you have, what's able to be added. So that could be another option also. But those are pretty good, and they give you an overall nutrition. And then you have the nutritional bars, like Kind Bars, Quest, whatever it may be. So those are handy also. Hope you've noticed our little theme here. These are handy foods that you can have at home every day. However, it's probably good to be maybe overstocked a little bit. So if something does come up, again, whether it's bad weather, power outages, anything that may cause you trouble of getting food that is perishable, these are non-perishable items. You don't need any kind of electricity to prepare them, and you're good to go. You just open them up, and these are typically things, I hope I've mentioned, that are easy to open, so it's not a lot of trouble, and you're not having to battle everybody else to get it. Okay, let me know if you got any other thoughts, comments, subscribe if you like it, and we'll keep coming back for more. And until then, I'll see you then.